Welcome to Via the Grapevine, proudly brought to you by Tony DaCosta of Liquor City Claremont, and offering you the chance to learn more about wine, the masters behind them, and even which wines to collect. And as always, there is a chance for you to win based on this chat. So look out for that post on the Via the Grapevine Facebook page to be a winner. Today, we head to a mountainside Agterpaal estate situated on the northern slopes of the magnificent Paarl Mountain. Ridgeback Wines has been producing five-star award-winning wine since 2001. And Ridgeback sales manager Luan Aucamp joins me today to share some very exciting news. Welcome, Luan. Nice to see you.
Hi, Guy. Nice to be here. Nice to see you as well. Thanks for having us.
You've just launched a new tasting room. It's very exciting for the farm.
Yeah, very. Yeah, so it's been actually something that's been in the pipeline for quite some years. When Vernon and Leslie moved down here from Zim, they had the original tasting room / restaurant built. But obviously, I think it served its purpose back then, but we sort of had the taste. Anyone who's been to Ridgeback would know we had the tasting room on the inside and the restaurant was designated on the outside with the deck. But the problem with that was that people couldn't eat inside and people couldn't taste wine outside. So it's been something that we've been struggling with, and we've had this plan to do this new tasting room, but there's just never been an opportunity in the last couple of years. And obviously now with COVID and us being forcefully closed for a couple of months, we saw an opportunity and we took it, and we've separated the tasting room from the restaurant now. And we just finished over the weekend, on Friday actually, just finished this brand new state-of-the-art, very, very exclusive tasting room, which we're very happy about. Yeah.
And I want to urge you to change the name, because for me, tasting room implies a dark room with wooden benches, you know, under the building, and it's not that at all. It needs to be like the tasting lounge or the tasting experience, or we need to come up with a catchy name for it, because it's basically glassed all the way around almost. You've got a beautiful center aisle that I believe food will be served on. You've got that wonderful bar area, and then the seating, and the seats are super, super comfortable. Thank you for the invite. As you can hear, I was there on Saturday.
Yeah. No, it was great to have you guys there.
And what wines will be available for tasting in your new tasting lounge room?
Yeah, so we've changed our tasting offering a couple of months ago as well. So we offer 3 tastings at the moment. We've got our lifestyle tasting, which you can choose 6 from our lifestyle range. We've got our premium tasting, which offers all of the Ridgeback range, the more premium wines, and then that's for 60 bucks. And then we've also got our master tasting, which is 100 Rand, and that's something that we actually only launched end of last year. And what that gives you an opportunity to taste is basically the best that Ridgeback has to offer. So that includes the 2 signature wines that we produce, the Viognier MCC, and then you can also choose 3 wines from the premium range as well. So it gives you an opportunity to taste those wines. Something we didn't have on offer in the past, which you brought in now, and it's definitely been making a difference if people have the opportunity to actually taste the best that you have to offer.
Indeed. It sounds fantastic that you can at least get a real taste of the winery. And on this past Saturday, you treated us to huge and delicious platters of food. Will something similar be available in the wine tasting room?
Yeah, so the wine tasting room is going to be designated basically for tasting wine, but we're also going to have availability of 2 platters there. We're going to have a cheese platter for 2 people and an antipasta platter for 2 people. Okay. So that's what very basic, very simple. Just if you want to maybe nibble on something while you're tasting wine, we're going to have the opportunity to do that as well. So the food that you guys ate was very, very, very exclusive. So I think a lot of the elements that were on those plates, we will use in a lot of the cheeses, a lot of the meats that we used, we are going to use in the platters. But we're only going to have those two platters on offering.
Yeah, just not all at the same time like you did for
only for 2 people. And then obviously if you want to have a meal or you want to have something else, the restaurant area at the bottom is going to be open for all of those needs.
And if you've ever been to Ridgeback Wines, you'll know that you kind of walk into the little restaurant area. It's right on the pond. And if you go out onto the deck area, you'll look across the pond, but then look up right. And up there is where you'll find the tasting room. So the tasting room has got a beautiful view overlooking that duck pond as well. And the gardens, of course. I think it was November 2018, I chatted with your winemaker and viticulturalist Toy Vessels. And at that stage, you had just launched the Ridgeback Mischief, the sparkling wine that you treated us to. And you treated us to the 2018 vintage. It was absolutely superb. It's obviously doing very well for you if you're still making it, firstly. Yeah. And how did we get to be so lucky to taste an older vintage?
So I think to start off with, at Ridgeback, we have a policy where we try and cellar age or bottle age all our wines for as long as possible before release. So usually on the reds, we try and get a good 2 to 3 years, and we try and extend the same principle to the whites where we can. Obviously, the whites sell much faster, and in such cases as with like our Viognier, it's doing so well, we can't stay ahead, so that's being released when it's available. But with the Mischief, actually, we were in a peculiar sort of position because we wanted to do the Mischief, we wanted to launch it, but we don't do the actual bottling of the Mischief, or how can you say, we don't do the actual process of getting it done and finished. So that gets done at another venue. And to do that, you need to produce a certain amount of bottles. So we just decided we're going to start with it. We want to sell it as sort of a premium sparkling wine. So it just sort of comes in below MCC, but not as sort of your cheapest sparkling wines. So that gave us opportunity to actually make quite a big vintage of it. And we've been slogging away at it. So initially, we only had it for local. Quite recently, we've started exporting it as well. And we're basically almost on the end of that. We're coming to the tail end of that 2018 vintage. So yeah, we're just selling through it, and then we're going to go into the 19, and it is something that we are planning to grow. So I think in line with what we want to do in terms of trying to sell older vintages and just to get the wine a bit older, that actually fits quite nicely in line now.
I think you're very lucky to be able to afford that. Obviously, cash flow is always a thing with any wine farm or any wine brand. So you're very fortunate to be able to hold back to some extent. I know there's some, very premium red wine producers that are able to hold back wine for even longer than 2 to 3 years. It certainly lends a lot of value to the marketplace. And it'll be interesting to see as well how COVID has caused many wineries to hold on to their wine, obviously, and there's been a little bit of aging before they've been able to release it to the market to sell. And I wonder, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, it's about making money, but I wonder how many other wineries are going to kind of adopt a similar strategy to you because they realize, oh, wow, okay, it's actually really done us quite a bit of an advantage to have this stored in the bottles. Yep. I believe you've decided to slim down your wine offering a bit because you really did have a lot on offer. And you're starting with the Sauvignon Blanc wine offering. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so when I started with Ridgeback in 2018, we just had way too much wines in our portfolio. And I think obviously being a majority exporting producer, you sort of try and fit in with what everyone wants and where everyone wants to go, but we realized it's just too much. So since then, we've sort of had our plans in progress to slim down the portfolio. I absolutely believe that obviously more is less, and we're trying to get, and so we have made quite a lot of headway. At the moment, we've got 2 ranges of Sauvignon Blanc. We've got a line-out Sauvignon Blanc, which fits into our lifestyle range, and then we've also got a Ridgeback Sauvignon Blanc, which fits into the Ridgeback Premium range, but it's basically the same product. So we just decided instead of trying to compete against ourselves, I think a farm like us that focuses predominantly on, I would say, more sort of better, older whites or bigger whites, wooded whites, and obviously red wines. I just think one Sauvignon Blanc's enough. So we made a decision, and from this year, we're actually putting the 2 together. and we're just going to be selling it under the Luan Aucamp Sauvignon Blanc. So we're only going to have one Sauvignon Blanc there. But I mean, that all plays to, I think, in the industry, things are changing, and I think farms need to realize what they do well and where they excel, and try and focus on that. I mean, you can't please everyone. You can't have everything available. I mean, we don't do Chardonnay, we don't do Pinotage, we don't do Malbec. And we always get people asking about, I mean, why don't we do it? And the plain reason is that you can't do anything. And I think that in the last couple of years has really become much more clear to us that we really just need to focus on what we do well, and where you can trim down, cut down, and just clarify the portfolio. For us, it's very important that people can very clearly identify with what we're selling, and obviously the two brands that we're focusing on now, one being the Luan Aucamp, which is the lifestyle brand, and then obviously Ridgeback, which is a premium brand, and just very distinctively separate those two and have them available. We also, I think people that's known us for a couple of years, I don't know if you remember, in 2018, we also had a brand called Vansha, which was also, we did a red blend and a white blend, and we've completely discontinued that now. So the white's not available anymore, and the red is phasing out. We're on the last vintage of what was made, but that also, it didn't lend any brand credibility to us. So we just decided to phase it out and just focus on that. So it is a progress. It is something that we're busy with. We are looking in the future to obviously see what else we can change. But for the moment, the Sauvignon Blanc's first in line to just be.
And I think an important distinction to make to consumers is it's not about loss. It's not about losing anything. It's about perfecting and honing what you do. And that's critical. I definitely feel like COVID has brought about a new era of simplifying our lives, being grateful for what we have, and indeed perfecting our offering. So I don't think it's a bad idea to go with a less is more offering. And I know that it's also an approach that Toy takes in the cellar as well. If you don't mind just kind of touching on a little bit, it's simple, unhindered winemaking, isn't it? That's kind of the ethos of the winemaking at Ridgeback Wines.
Yeah, correct. So it's basically what we call a minimalistic approach to winemaking, and that's really has been Toy's sort of style since he got started. And the whole focus is to take what we get from the vineyard. And I mean, Toy spoke with you guys on Saturday, and anyone who's listened to Toy knows that he's very, very passionate about viticulture. And I think everyone knows in the industry that good wine starts in the vineyards, and the effort and care and sort of everything that we are putting into the vineyards, it's important for us to make sure that we can translate that with the winemaking process. And what we want to do is just as you say, unhindered. We really want to interfere as little as possible and just take the natural product that we get from the vineyards and carry that through and try and show that in the wine. And I think it's a process that really works. I think especially where we're going today, where sustainability and ethos and everything like that plays a big role, it's very important to do that. So we will speak a lot about using natural, so we try and use as much as possible. So the natural tannins, all the natural elements that we get from the grapes, and try and pull that through. So we sit with wines that's got very little sulfites. We sit with wines that's got as little pump overs, as little filtering and everything as possible. So you saw our cellar, so from the barrel cellar or from the maceration cellar to the barrel cellar, we use gravity to use gravity. So it's as little interference as possible. And it's really something that's been working for us. I think with the consistent quality that we're kicking out of the cellar, that's one of the major key factors, because we're just working with obviously good quality grapes and pulling that through. And
it's certainly paying off with your Viognier. I mean, you are, I believe, and I stand to be corrected, are you the only producer that makes a Viognier MCC in South Africa?
100% pure Viognier MCC. I know Fairview, sometimes they've got that, one of their ranges, they blend with Viognier, but we are the first. I think we were the first, and I think at the moment we are the only producer that produces 100% pure Viognier MCC. And
your Viognier wine has been voted best in South Africa. So it's obviously a grape that is worth pegging your hopes on. Is that something that you as a sales manager and as a winery are doing? You're pegging your name or the estate's name on Viognier?
For sure. I think Viognier it's an unbelievable cultivar. It's such a versatile cultivar. The key thing with Viognier, it's difficult to work with. And I think that's why a lot of winemakers and a lot of estates are shying away from it, because it's not necessarily something that's easy to handle. And you need someone with experience that's spent a lot of time at a certain estate to obviously produce it. And I think that's why Toy is just producing the best Viognier of his life at the moment, because he's been here for 20 years. He planted all the vineyards himself. He does all the viticulture. So he's so involved with everything that it just gives him the opportunity to really produce the best. But to answer your question, Viognier is something that we are championing. It's something that we are putting our name behind. As you mentioned, in the last 2 years, so in 2019, we were only the second winery in the 40-year history of Platinum to be able to be awarded a 5-star for Viognier. And last year we won, for this year's Platinum, we won 5-star again. So we won 5-star 2 years in a row now. Was voted as the champion Viognier 2 years in a row. So it is definitely something that we are pursuing. And it's definitely something that we are going to keep pushing. And I think it's something that's just going to get better and better as time goes around. And more people are embracing it. We have seen our Viognier sales absolutely explode in the last 2.5 years. Internationally, locally, people are embracing the cultivar. It's doing really, really well. And I think the style of Viognier we are producing really resonates with people. It's a brilliant food wine as well. And it's just doing really, really well for us.
It is absolutely sensational. I'm just referring to the notes that I made on Saturday, and I put quite a few stars next to that one. And we tasted the 2020 vintage, and absolutely fascinating to taste a wooded Viognier of such high quality. And if you as a viewer have never really tasted it as a lone grape or cultivar, and maybe you've tasted it blended with other things, I highly recommend that you get your hands on a bottle of Ridgeback's Viognier, because it is, wow. Besides the award-winning red wines, the sensational Viognier and that delicious MCC, what are some of the other reasons that we should hop in the car this weekend and come out to Ridgeback Wines?
Yeah, so obviously with the new tasting room, I think that's a really good reason to come and visit us. But the thing for us is we really want to create an experience at Ridgeback where people can come and they can really experience really good quality wines in a beautiful setting and just have a good experience. And that's something that we're pushing for. So at the moment, our offering obviously includes the wine tasting. We've got the restaurant. We do breakfast and lunch. We've got our 4-star guest house, so people can come and spend the weekend or spend the night with us as well. Last year, we also added as a starting point for the Paul, we've got a mountain biking route that goes over the Paul Mountain, and we are a starting point for that route as well. So any avid mountain bikers, people are welcome to come. So we're trying to obviously create an experience there. And I think what really makes us unique is we're off the beaten path. We're not sitting in one of the major wine producing areas in South Africa, or I think mainstream wine producing areas. We're sitting sort of in a really isolated pocket. And I think that's what people enjoy. And that's what we want to give people, to come and visit a place that's different, to come and visit something that's more unique, and just have a great experience. I mean, you were there, the tranquility, the serenity, just with the pond and the gardens and the ducks and everything. I think it's just a really special venue. And our hope is with the new tasting center that's really just gonna lift us even further. But there are a lot of reasons to come and visit Ridgeback.
The serenity is just sensational.
Yeah.
Luan, I've got some quick fire questions to end off, and this is really just an opportunity for us to get to know you a little bit better. We've been talking about the winery and the wines. This is for us to know you a bit better, so that when we bump into you at a wine expo or a tasting, we can say, oh yeah, I heard on via the grapevine that you are a whatever. So don't think too hard about the answers to these questions. They quick fire. The first answer that comes to mind, just give it to me. Favorite variety to drink?
I actually enjoy blends at the moment. Yeah, so border driven blends. Yeah.
Okay. Boys High or Chimmy?
Boys Eye, 150%.
Is there any other school in South Africa, really?
No, I mean,
Besides
it's
Boys
only
High?
school in South Africa, so I mean, it has to be Boys Eye.
Mask or Buff?
A mask.
Paul Rock or Table Mountain?
Paul Rock for sure.
Oh, he's a Paul boy through and through, eh? Racevleis in aardappels or braai?
Braai.
I'm impressed. I thought you were going to tell me both together at the at the braai.
No, I mean, I very seldom, even when the bycourser gets made, I just stick with the meat most of the time. So
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time today. It's been wonderful chatting with you. And of course, to you, we invite you to get along to Liquor City Claremont to buy Ridgeback wines. I was lucky enough to bump into Luan there a couple of months back, and got drawn into a little tasting that he was doing with Tony DaCosta and the team at Liquor City. So yeah, head across there to buy some of the wine. And of course, if you fancy your luck, then you can answer the easy question that's going to be posted here on the Via the Grapevine page. And you could win, wait for it, a one-night stay for 2 people that includes wine tasting at the luxury Ridgeback Wines 4-star guest house. Wow. Thank you, Luan. That's a phenomenal prize, sir.
yeah, no, I mean, we really want to encourage people to come and experience us at the venue. I always say the best place to get people to come is to visit you at the source on the farm. And that's really something that we want to encourage people to come out, to come and visit us, and to come and experience everything that we've got to offer.
Well, best of luck with sales for the year. We're back to level 1. Gooi hom, Papi.
Lucky. Let's just hope it stays that way.
Let's hope. This Via the Grapevine was brought to you by Liquor City Claremont. Visit their wine emporium for a journey via the Grapevine.